Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. And I am currently doing the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, but I thought I would get on here and take a little break and make a video for my BookTube channel. So, I was tagged by Carrie over on Twitter, and she tagged me and said to me, Peter Likes Books, I just did the Spring to It book tag, and I tagged you in it because I know you say no one ever tags you in anything. So thank you so much, Carrie. No, I don't ever get tagged in anything, which is so funny because I do so many tag videos. What is surprising to me about it is that if I was like creating an original tag, because I'm so famous, you know, but if I was creating an original tag, I would tag me because I always do tag videos. So if you tag me an original tag, the chances are I'm probably gonna do it. Okay, so let's get right into the video. This is the Spring to It tag, and it was originally designed and created by The Story. And I will link Carrie's YouTube channel, her original video, or her video of this below. Please go subscribe to her. It's a nice thing to do. And then you can go check out all the questions there for yourself. I'm gonna get right into this. I have only read the first question. I haven't watched her video. Whenever I do tag videos, I always watch the video after because I don't want it to, you know, persuade me to say certain books, if that makes sense. Okay, so Spring to It tag. The first one, New Beginnings, a book about a fresh start or a journey. Okay, so the book that I'm gonna say for this is The Art of Racing in the Rain. And I think his name is like Garth, is it Garth Williams? I can't remember what his name is, but anyway, I loved that book so much. It was so fantastic. It's honestly one of my favorite books that I have ever read, and it's a dog book, and my dogs are running around as we speak. In fact, here is Mr. Boo Radley, who said, Dad, I would love to be in a video today. You want to be in a video? He said, I would love to be in a video. So he's in a video with me, and we're talking about The Art of Racing in the Rain. It's also a very sad book. But it's about a guy getting a dog and then their life together, all told from the dog's point of view. It's fantastic. It is so, so good. And there are several new journeys and new beginnings in the book. So, Boo Radley is back here now, starting his own new beginning of finding a hole in the couch because he is digging like this. Okay. Number 2, Eureka, a book that motivated or inspired you, like to move it, an activity that helps you spring to action. That's a really good question. I think I'm gonna say, so Lily Sang Superwoman on YouTube, she wrote a book about her life and things like that called Something Like a Boss. And although it wasn't my favorite book in the entire world, I thought that her attitude, because you all know I have 4 YouTube channels, I thought her attitude about doing things that you're passionate about in life and getting things done and being motivated towards it. I really loved her attitude about it, you know? And she was like, you know, to be successful, one of the things that she said that I really liked was to be successful, that might mean that you have to stay home sometimes when your friends go out. And a lot of times I prefer to like stay at home and miss something, not all the time, you know? I've now figured out a way to kind of balance it out. But when you're really, really passionate about doing something, whether it's reading, like for a readathon, or making videos, or dancing, or singing, or whatever it is, sometimes to engage in that passionate activity, you have to kind of miss out on some other stuff in life, and it's a balance act, you know, balancing act to figure that out. And she talked about that in that book, and I love that she talked about that and addressed that. And she's super successful too, you know? And if you haven't read the book and you want a motivational book from a YouTuber, it's highly motivational. And she has a lot of like little tricks in there that she talks about. Okay, Quid Pro Quo. A quote that helps you realize something about yourself or really struck a chord with you. God, that's a good question. It's going to be a Janis Joplin, you know, quote. I think Janis Joplin's quote that says something, and I don't know it by heart, but says something to the effect of, I'm just one of those normal weird people. You know, I think made me, when I heard that in high school, I felt like, okay, somebody gets me on a huge level like that. I mean, she had long since passed away by then, obviously. But, you know, I felt like included in something. Like, I felt like a weirdo. Like, I've always felt different. I've always felt awkward, like I don't fit in. And to hear somebody else say that, you know, I wasn't hearing a lot of people say that. So it made me start finding myself through music, of which I did, you know, and I listened to a lot of Janis Joplin in high school, and a lot of other people like the Smiths and the Cure and people like that just didn't fit in. And I was almost kind of attracted to, you know, musical talent of people that didn't fit in, and they weren't the norm. So I would say that quote. I would also say, The Maya Angelou quote, this is probably my favorite quote of life, that when someone shows you who they are, believe them, they know themselves much better than you do. And I don't think that that needs any explaining whatsoever. I think it's explanation enough. But I have found that to be true more and more times, you know, that when somebody tells you or shows you something about themselves, when they tell you who they are, believe them. They know you much. So, you know, she did this whole thing with Oprah, and she said, you know, when somebody says to you, I'm crazy, believe them. They know themselves. You know, when someone says, I'm lazy, believe them. You know, a lot of times people tell us about themselves and we don't want to believe it. We're like, oh, no, they're going to change, they're going to change, they're going to change, and they don't. And then we're like, well, I can't believe they didn't change. And the reality is, we knew who they were from the beginning. We could either accept that, you know, and have them in our lives, or, you know, I guess be let down years later. But I love that quote. Okay, reach for the sky, a character that grows. A character that grows. Let's see. That's a good question. Fish out of water. That's what I'm going to say, that one. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So this was one of my favorite books as a kid, and it's about, his name's Otto, I think, in the book, and he goes and gets a fish, and it's a goldfish, and the guy tells him, don't feed it too much, just feed it just right, because if you feed it too much, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the goldfish, the whole book is a lesson on just listening to what people tell you to do and doing it. That's a pretty simple lesson in life. Why do most of us not follow that? Seriously. But this kid overfeeds the goldfish, and the goldfish just grows and grows and grows and grows until he has to go to a pool and all this kind of stuff. And then finally, like, the fish guy comes back and he has an antidote, and the fish gets down to like small size again, and then he brings him back and he has him in a little fish bowl. And he's learned his lesson, see? So, that's kind of a funny answer, actually. Busy bee, a character that is always busy working or doing something. A character that is always busy working or doing something. Oh my gosh, something that I've recently read. Let me pick a book that I've recently read. Let me go into my Goodreads. I've been reading a lot this month, but I haven't been reading as much. Oh, I'll tell you who. The main character from, oh shoot, I can't remember what the book is now. Hold on a second, I'm reading it, so I guess I could just look it up there, couldn't I? The Invention of Hugo Bray by Brian Selznick. So Hugo in the book is constantly working. He's like working on clocks, working on this, working on that, working on this. So that's who I'll say. Anyway, okay. It's about time I finished that book. We'll just say that. Let me get back into this. Oh shoot. It's pulling up the video. I apologize. That's why you don't go out of your questions when you're doing a tag video. Grow and Grow, a book or series that you wish had a companion or another book. Oh, gosh. Well, I wish that The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey had gone in a completely different direction. I really loved The Fifth Wave. It was probably one of my favorite books I read that year. I mean, like, just as a fun read. But I thought that it just, the last two were so bad. I hated it, and it felt very much to me like Rick Yancey got a 3-book deal and he had to put two more books out. That being said, this is kind of a trite answer, but The Hunger Games, I wish would have more books in the series. I thought that was one of the first series I ever read, and like young adult series, and Boo Radley is like staring me down. This is so funny. He's like, Dad, I really want to be up there with Pee-Pee, because Pee-Pee is right here to my left. Boo Radley, I put you in the video and then you went down. But I love The Hunger Games. I read them, all 3 of them, in like 2 weeks sitting on my front porch. I thought they were fantastic. I still think they're fantastic, and I love the movies too. The More You Know, a book that taught you something. A book that taught me something. Well, let's see. I don't know that I can think. I mean, every book I read teaches me something. Shoot, let's see. Okay, this is small, but, you know, I think this is an important lesson. In The Hate U Give, there is a part where Star's parents are talking to her about, you know, how, as an African American, when police officers come and talk to them, that they shouldn't have their hands in their pockets. They should say yes sir, no sir. They shouldn't make any quick moves and things like that. I'm kind of like, you know, just summarizing this, but it was something to that effect. And, you know, as a white person in the United States who never had to have my parents have that conversation with me, that was a eye-opening moment, okay? Of true white privilege, honestly. I had never thought about that, you know? And I thought that was a very important piece of that book. I thought it was a vital piece of that book. So, anyway, that was something that I learned. change is a good thing. Share the links of your first video and the most recent video you posted. Feel free to share a bit about it. Well, my very first video, I think, was like, welcome to my booktube channel. And I was like sitting over there and I was like, I'll post it. I mean, if I remember, I never remember to do the links, but I'll post it. Welcome to my booktube channel. I'm gonna be doing book lists and I don't know, book things. I was like, so it really wasn't as cringy as some people's. I'm sorry, but it just wasn't. But it was pretty bad. The lighting was horrific in it. Okay. And then the most recent video I did, I think, was my review of My Sweet Audrina, which we're reading for my book club. I just started a book club called Peter's Book Club. We're reading all fun books, all pop culture books, all cult classic books. This is not your Oprah's book club, okay? And I'm actually gonna start, I think, a group on Goodreads for it. I'm gonna do that this weekend. So go follow me on Goodreads so you can get notified of that. And the next book that we're reading in that series is Heaven by V.C. Andrews. Okay. Defy the Odds, a book that fits or could be classified in more than one genre. Gosh, so many of them, right? I think, let's see. I'm just going to pick something out of the blue. Invisibility by David Levithan. It was not one of my favorite books by him, but it could fit into, you know, it could fit into science fiction. It could fit into kind of like paranormal romance. It could fit into just young adult, all that kind of stuff. Okay. I think I can. 3 books I want to read this year and a goal I want to accomplish. Well, I want to read 100 books because I set my goal for Goodreads at 101. I'd like to read 101, but we'll see if we can do that. 3 books that I really want to read this year. Okay, I really want to read A Court in Mist and Fury. It's been on my list for 2 years. I haven't read it. I also want to read A Little Life by Hana Yanagihara. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I also want to complete the Harry Potter series. Those are my 3 book goals for this year. Actually, since it includes more books than that, it's A Little Life or whatever, throw it out, and just put the Harry Potter books in there. If I could just finish the Harry Potter books this year, I would feel accomplished. Pay it forward, tag 5 people that you want to help motivate and have fun. I'm just going to let anybody that wants to do this tag do it. I tag so many people in my tags, and nobody ever does. I mean, I think like Damien's the only one that ever does the tags that I tag people in. So whoever wants to do this, go do it. Yeah, and I will try to link those videos below, but if you go down there and you try to see those links and they're not there, just go to my very first video. Just go to my very last video, and there are the links. Anyway, that was a fun tag. So thank you so much, Carrie, for including me in that. I hope you guys are having a fun weekend. If you're doing the readathon, I hope you're getting it all bumped out. I have now about 14 hours exactly. It's 6 p.m. I have 14 hours exactly to continue reading. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.